Hi, my name is Brock Wilson, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of the greatest movies of all time, Cars 2. Now, I think this movie, for the most part, is highly realistic. You know, the Aston Martin that can shoot missiles out of the front of his car and turn into a submarine or a jet at will, that's something completely normal. I'd expect that to be happening. But one thing that really threw me off was the fact that Francesco Bernoulli, Lightning McQueen's rival in the movie, was somehow able to qualify for the World Racing Series by winning the Formula Racer Championship, which is basically the equivalent in the Cars universe to Formula One. Now, I think this makes no sense. I think Francesco Bernoulli is a fraud, and I'm going to prove that to you by pretty much showing you why he would not be able to succeed in the Formula One landscape in like the real world. Specifically, I'm going to be focusing on the 2009 season, and that is because of the make of his car, which, although he is an animated cartoon car, it's actually like an exact copy of a car Ferrari used in that 2009 season called the Ferrari F60. Now, this car was unfortunately not very good during that season. According to Motorsport Magazine, this was a year where regulations were completely reset, and teams basically had to start anew. And Ferrari unfortunately chose the wrong course of action when making this car, leaving them a bit behind some of the other teams. You can see this kind of underperformance when you look at how their drivers performed this season. Their two main drivers were Kimi Räikkönen and Felipe Massa, and they finished 6th and 11th respectively. This is not something where it's like the drivers were bad, the car was still good, because these drivers had really, really good results leading up to this season. Räikkönen had actually won everything in 2007, and over the 4 seasons before 2009, he had only placed outside of the top 3 in driver standings once. So this was really uncharacteristic for him. This was pretty much the same for Massa, who over the 3 years before 2009 had also placed, I believe, 4th, 2nd, and 3rd in his seasons. And just to kind of like hammer in like how bad this car was, Auto Evolution reports that Ferrari themselves admitted that the car was having reliability issues and things like that at the start of the season. And other sources reported that Ferrari was so disappointed in this car that they actually shut down any work on it. With 4 races still left in the year, so they just completely gave up on the car, which is not something that usually happens. Now, this wouldn't really matter as much if Francesco was surrounded by a really, really good team. But unfortunately, I don't think that is the case either. Early in the movie, we see that Francesco does not have the tires to drive properly on dirt. You see him sliding around everywhere. It happens about 40 in the movie. And this kind of shows a severe lack of planning from his squad. And one thing that's really important is the driver strategy that you choose in F1. If his team can't plan for like something that you already know about the course like that, then what else is going to happen as the season goes on? That's another thing against Francesco being able to perform well. Probably the most egregious example of his team being pretty incompetent, though, comes later on in the movie when at around an hour, 9 minutes, and 20 seconds in the movie, during the second race, Francesco's team just doesn't tell him that there's like a horrendous, awful, life-threatening crash that just happened behind him, and he just keeps racing through what would have been a red flag, and almost gets like hit head on by an ambulance in the movie. So like obviously, so we see that his car is bad, and also now his team's not communicating with him well. One thing, like this is something that's very important within F1. Red Bull Racing reports that a team that doesn't communicate well just doesn't win, period. And according to a 2016 study led by Andrew Bell, the team and car account for 86% of driver variation. Well, this means that if your car is struggling, your team's not good, there's not a lot the driver can do to make up for this. So the only way Francesco could be considered really good or been able to win such a season would be if he was just incredible and the best ever. And unfortunately, I don't really think that's the case. There are things that are good for him. This is something that's kind of surprising, but the Pixar Cars Wiki describes Francesco as arrogant and cocky and somewhat prickly. He gets triggered easily by other drivers. And this is honestly not that bad of a thing instantly. Like, some of the best racers in Formula One are a bit insane, like Max Verstappen. He also really has a desire to win, and is in what would be the prime for a driver at 29. But I think the thing that honestly hurts him is the fact that he's stated to be a really clean racer. And unfortunately, the best racers in F1 are usually the ones that are able to kind of bend the rules a little bit. Like, you think of the greats like Verstappen, Schumacher, Hamilton. They're all known to be pretty aggressive when they drive and willing to kind of like cut people off and take over things if necessary. And for all these reasons, I think this is kind of nail in the coffin, where you look at, he's got a car that's not good. This car finished 4th in the driver's standings. Compared to all the other teams, the racers didn't do good. His team around him is not strong at all. And then he himself, although he has some qualities of champions, he also doesn't seem to have the killer instinct that you need. Thank you.